Hey y'all, it's Andrea with The Cutest Little Thing. Thanks so much for hopping on to watch today's video. If you are new to my channel, thanks so much for stopping by. I hope you like what you see today. And if you've hung out with me before, welcome back. If you love thrift flips, home decor, DIYs, upcycling, and all of the things, then you are at the right place. I love to go thrifting and bring those unwanted items home and make them over and give them new life. Alright, let's get started with today's projects. For our first project today, I have this mirror I grabbed out of my stash. If you guys saw my video not too long ago, I did a mirror and it was green and I did the songbird molds on it. Well, it sold immediately when I put it in my booth, so I wanted to make one similar to that. So I grabbed this mirror, and as you saw, I just went and took a pretty coarse piece of sandpaper. I gave it a good sand and clean up. Now, these molds, I had a great friend of mine, Emily with Emily's Upcycled Home, to send me some Happy Mail, and she had sent me these resin molds, where she cast them with her resin. And she sent them to me, so they were all ready to go. So all I had to do was use my E6000 glue, and I just dabbed that on the back of each bird, and I spread that around, and then I placed them on the mirror how I wanted them to sit. And as you see, I used 4 different ones. And I just placed them on there and I let that dry really well. Now I'm going in with some milk paint. This is the Sweet Pickins milk paint in the color Window Pane. It's a really pretty white color. And if you've ever used milk paint before, you use equal parts. It comes in a powder form. You use equal parts of your powder and your water and you mix it really well. And you want it to sit just a little bit to thicken up a little bit. And the secret to milk paint is applying that heat and creating texture and even some chippiness. So I'm going in with my heat gun here to dry that first coat. And I did go in with a second coat. Usually, milk paint does better when you layer up with 2 or 3 coats. Just all depending on the look you're wanting to get. And it also depends on the surface that you are painting on with how the chipping process does or the crackle does. Milk paint is very unpredictable, so you never know what you're going to get. And that's one reason why I love it so much. And here I am going in with my heat gun again, drying that second coat, and I am being careful not to hit those resin molds too long because you know how hot those heat guns get, and I did not want to mess those molds up. And I'm just going in here, getting those sides again, just touching up a little bit more. I did not get a whole lot of chipping that I thought I was going to get. So I did go in with my sanding block here and I just tried to scuff up and get a little more chipping. And it did start to give me some chipping, especially around those edges. And I just used that sanding block to sort of knock off and help that chipping along. And you can see there as I'm applying that heat with my heat gun, you can kind of see some of that paint lifting up and giving me some pretty chip. And you want to make sure when you use milk paint, you want to make sure you're satisfied with the layer underneath your paint because that's going to be visible when your paint starts chipping. And with this, I was okay with what was underneath. I wanted this piece to look old and worn when it was all completed. So I was okay with the underneath that I had under my milk paint. Now I'm going in with Dixie Belle's Best Stain Wax in the brown. And I just wanted to give this even more of an aged, worn, dirty look. So I decided to go in with the dark wax or the brown wax. And I just gave the entire piece a really good coat of this wax. And milk paint does not have a built-in sealer, so you want to make sure you seal it with something, and you can seal with wax. So this wax is not only giving me a nice aged look that I'm going after, but it's also sealing in my milk paint and giving it a good protective barrier. In some places, I got it just a little too dark with that brown wax. And when that happens, you can go in with clear wax and kind of loosen up that dark wax, and it'll kind of help it. You can move it around a little more easier and lighten it up in, you know, the places that you get it too dark in. So that's what I was doing there with that clear wax. Now I'm taking just a small paintbrush and I am lining that edge of the mirror with my dark wax. I kind of wanted to create a contrast there and just go around and darken that outer edge just a bit. After that, I gave that glass a good clean where we have been sanding, and this is our finished product, you guys. I love how this turned out. I love the aged, worn look of this piece. Let me know what you guys think of this. And let me know if you remember the other mirror we did in the green. Okay, y'all, you know how I am with my baskets and my bunnies. So my plan was to combine these two to make something really super cute for spring and the Easter holiday coming up. So this is just a pool noodle I'm cutting up into pieces. You will see me use these a lot of times for sort of like using in the place of floral foam. It works awesome, but I figured I needed to line it with some mesh here because this basket did have some holes in it, so I wanted the pool noodle and all of that to be covered. Now I'm going in, filling in with some greenery. This greenery I get off of Amazon, and I love it for the springtime. And this artificial grass is also from Amazon. And then I'm just putting some Spanish moss inside. Now my plan was to kind of put this little bunny in this grass, kind of like he's hiding behind there. And this little mini terracotta pot, you can grab these at Dollar Tree, Hobby Lobby, even Walmart. I chalk painted this. No, excuse me, I did not chalk paint this. I used DIY's White Swan to go on this pot, which is a chalk and clay-based paint. And DIY paint is the perfect paint to wet distress, so that's what I was doing there with my wet rag. Now, this little plaque is one I had previously made, and it's just got little baby chicks by a wooden fence with a bird perched on that fence. I think that is super cute, and that image was just decoupaged on there. And so I wanted that sort of in the background of my basket. And here I am just sealing up. I had another little terracotta pot, and I was just sealing that up. It was smaller. The one I started to use was just a little bit too big for this basket. So I grabbed that smaller one and I was sealing it up with the DIY clear wax. Now look at this little chick I had in my stash, y'all. He is so cute. He was just a tad too shiny for me, so I just brushed him with matte Mod Podge, and that just dulls. If you have something shiny and you want to dull it down, just coat it with some matte Mod Podge. And then I filled that little pot with eggs. And then, y'all, I decided to switch that bunny out with that bird because he matches the bird on that fence perfectly. So I was super excited with how this little basket was coming together. I thought it needed just a little something else, so I grabbed an old grapevine wreath and I was just kind of clipping and cutting some pieces apart from it. I wanted to make like a little handle using that grapevine material. And here I've just got some wire that I get off of Amazon. It's the one that's coated like with the brown paper. I love having that stuff. It's super handy to have. And I just put all my twigs together and I wrapped them with that brown wire just to hold all those twigs together. And then I just went and stuck it inside the basket on the inside. And then I took a piece of that wire on each side and attached it to my basket. So you'll see me here just cutting a piece of that wire and wrapping it around, and I just kind of fed it through one of the holes in the basket. I know you can't see what I'm doing here, but that's all I did. I just fed it through a hole in the basket and wired that around to hold those little twigs into place. And now I am securing everything with some hot glue just so I don't have to worry about anything falling out of the basket. And I also added some of that eucalyptus greenery in there that I love, just to add a little more greenery in there. And y'all, look how cute this turned out. I was so excited how everything came together. If you'll notice, the little chick goes with the little chicks in the picture. And then, like I said, that bird I found in my stash matches the bird perched there on the fence perfectly. I was just so excited with how this turned out. I hope y'all like it too. Let me know in the comments what you think of this one, guys. On to our next project. I have this thrifted cutting board. I am ready to give a makeover. So I'm using an 80 grit sandpaper just to give this a good sand. There was like a glossy finish on this on both sides, and I just wanted to remove as much of that as possible. I love taking these cutting boards and making them over, and I also love making them reversible decor, doing one design on one side and another design on the other side. I'm going in using some milk paint. This is Sweet Pickins milk paint in the color Zinc. And I love this color. It is just a beautiful gray. So I went in with my first coat, and now I'm going in with my heat gun and giving it a good dry. And if you've ever used milk paint, you just use equal parts of the powder form that it comes in and water. So I just keep a little tablespoon scooper in my craft room. And I just did a tablespoon of the milk paint and a tablespoon of water. And look how good of coverage we're already getting just with the second coat. I went ahead and did the sides as well and the top of that little handle. And again, going in with that heat tool. The heat is the magic touch for the milk paint. It gives it all that crackle and chippy goodness that you love about milk paint. And milk paint is so unpredictable, you never know how it's going to react and what it's going to do. Once my milk paint was dry, I went in on one side with this stencil I got off of Amazon. And I'm stenciling this on with the color White Swan in DIY. And just very carefully, I'm holding that stencil down with one hand. And you can absolutely tape your stencil down if you would feel more comfortable doing that. Just knowing that it's not going to shift on you while you're stenciling on your design. But I just keep one hand down on that stencil while I stencil in with my other hand. And then the reveal, that looks awesome, that white against that gray color. I just wanted to scuff that up a bit. I wanted a little more chippy from that milk paint. So sandpaper it was, and that also just gives it a bit of a distressed look. And now I'm going to seal all of that in with Dixie Belle's Best Dang Wax in the white. I also wanted a white hue with this. If you don't want this white hue, you could just go with a clear wax. And this is going to seal in our milk paint as well as give it that beautiful white hue. Now on to the second side, I have this beautiful image that I purchased off of an Etsy shop and I printed on my regular inkjet printer. If you're watching on YouTube, I will link this design in the description. And if you're watching on Facebook, feel free to comment and ask any questions of the products I'm using in today's project. So as you saw, I just took a paintbrush, dipped it in water, and went around my design to tear it just so it would not have a straight, perfect edge. I wanted more of a torn look, tattered look. It gives it a little more of a distressed look, so that's what I was going for. And now I'm just going in with my Mod Podge matte and decoupaging that on. And just using this little baggie here to rub out any wrinkles or creases that tried to come in to our paper here. And also applying some heat, and that also helps rub out any wrinkles or creases that try to pop up as well. And it just helps give it a good dry. Now I'm going in with that same white wax on this side as well. I even go over that printer paper as well. And again, that's sealing everything in, sealing in our milk paint. And it's also sealing in that ink on that paper and giving it that gorgeous white hue. I'll just give a good coat. I did let that sit just a minute and I wiped off a little bit of the excess. And on this side, I just wanted a simple little lace bow. This lace I get off of Amazon in a big bulk pack. So I just tied me a little bow there, a little simple bow. And then I added just a little piece of greenery there under where I tied it. And on the other side, I did the same thing. I just tied a piece of that lace in a bow, added a little piece of greenery, and we have a beautiful piece here. With one side being a farmhouse theme, or flip it over and you have maybe a country chic, shabby chic. Either way, I love how this turned out. I just love picking up cutting boards like this in the thrift store, bringing them home and making them over and giving them new life. Let me know what you think of this one. Let's take a look at those finished products one more time. We have our mirror here where we use the resin molds with that aged look. We have our beautiful little birdie and chick basket with the little eggs inside the pot. And last but not least, we have our reversible cutting board with a farmhouse theme on one side and country chic, shabby chic on the other side. Drop me a comment. Let me know your favorite project for today. Thanks so much for watching The Cutest Little Thing. Please like, subscribe, and share around. Thank you for all of your support and all of your kind words on each video. And I will see you guys on the next one. Have a blessed day.